unless you train here, and then you learn the pale guard and burn bonus first, which are more important. Okay, so from here, Carl stands up. Once I get to here, and he has vertical posture, so we talked about this is the worst case scenario. I want Carl bent over, but he's got vertical posture. But from here, his legs are exposed, so all I'm going to do is reach and make grips from the outside. I uncross my closed guard and drop my butt to the mat. And it's really important that I grab from the outside. I'll show you this once and you'll never do it again. If I grab on the inside, but don't do this, Carl, and say Carl falls forward, all the weight, just go a little bit further, bro, all the weight's going onto my neck and back, and that's going to wreck you. So always make sure when you go for the double ankle grab sweep, it's always on the outside. So once I uncross, I don't want Carl sitting back into the foot lock. So again, Carl can sit back from there into the Achilles lock and do all that stuff because I've uncrossed my legs. So the minute I uncross my legs, I am vulnerable to the foot lock, but I'm aware of it. So I'm pinching with my feet, and I don't want my foot past his hip, because if he does sit back for the foot lock or attack with a toe hold, it's there. So that's what I want there. My butt is on the mat for now, and then I pinch my knees, and then I just lift my hips and my knees, hit him in the chest. The problem is now coming up. Right? My head's higher than Carl's, my hips are on top of his. But what's different now? Remember we talked about at the start of this mesocycle? If my hips are on top of Carl's, was that a good thing? Yeah? But what's happening now? I don't have close guard. It's different than that. Right? And I can come up and do all that stuff. My guard is open now, so it's, even though my hips are on top, it's still not as good. So I've come up in a hand to get my head higher than Carl's. Carl's not going to stay down there. If his head's lower than mine, I'm coming up. He's going to make a base with his hand. So it doesn't make sense to come straight up because Carl is a hand, he can push me back. Again, there's arm bars and things I could go for here, but we keep it simple. So all I'm thinking about is who's got the higher head. So I make a single necktie, I put my hand on the mat and I physically lift my hip. It's not about me getting my hips higher than Carl's, it's about me getting my hips higher than this knee, the one I'm going to step over to here. So now I'm perpendicular to Carl. And again, from this position, tying it in with stuff we did earlier, I can hit Carl with my hip and he's going to post with his hand. The minute he does, I find his wrist, I take it away, and I'm in the mount. Okay? So from our position. So really the problem with that sweep, that you learned early in your jiu-jitsu journey, is the part that's coming up. You don't want to come up straight. So when Carl actually stands up, I've lost all my grips. He's got vertical posture. I grab from the outside. That's the important thing. I uncross my legs. I'm vulnerable to the foot lock, so my inside of my feet are pinching against his thighs. My foot isn't past his hip. My knees come inside, and then from here, I physically lift my ass off the mat and hit him with my knees to take him over. So again, I'm building a base. Carl's building a base. From there, I don't come up straight. I physically get a single necktie. I lift my hip and I turn myself perpendicular. It's not about me getting my hips over Carl's because my guard is open now, beating this knee line. So I lift my hips and I come to here. And again, to keep things simple, the easiest way to come up is hit him with my hip this way. He has to post. The minute he does, my arm will come underneath. I find that, I just take it and then mount. Stands up, take him over. As I come up, I'm coming this way. And again from there, if Carl comes up on this hand, see the way now the game has changed. From that position, I'll bring the underhook and take him over. Sometimes you have to make adjustments. Another thing people will do from there to try and close down that sweep is the minute I drop into it and grab here, Carl sometimes can latch on to my lapels and anchor himself to me. Now what happens is when I lift my hips and try to hit him with my knees, it's just not going to happen. And we're here. Now keeping things simple, we've already addressed what should I do if he's bent over. What's the first thing I'm looking for? Anybody?
Over his hips? Or the top one?
Good. I make that cross grip, and now from there he's bent over. I keep him down here, and then I start to climb with my leg. I come over the shoulder, arm bars there. That's one option, but we can still sweep him from here. So watch. This is Henry Akins, very smart. From this position, rather than lifting my hips and trying to take Carl over, because he can anchor himself to me. See the way when he's latched onto me, it's like a buffer, and I'm here. I can just straighten my legs and bring my heels. He's pulling me over at this stage. Now again, another way of coming up, again, this is Henry Akins. If I come up straight, Carl's got a hand. He can use one hand to push me back, and he's made a base with this hand. So it makes sense for me to not give him the profile. So the minute he puts a hand on me, I just put two hands on the mat and turn so I'm facing away from him. He can use one hand, he can use two hands, doesn't matter. And I'll come around this way. More time on that. So if they do make that common counter, and that's a lot of people will do this, the minute I start to go here, I just can't get it. Option one is he's bent over, so I just find that grip that we talked about that was so important. We've already covered this, so I'm not going into detail. This stops him posturing. I'm not pulling him down. I just hang him and lift my hips. Now I can climb, get into the top lock, cover that foot, and now I have the underhook, arm bars there. Or the Henry Akins version, if I want to hit the sweep, instead of my hips being off the mat and trying to hit Carl with my knees, I drop my ass to the mat, I straighten my legs, and I just bring my heels to the mat, which takes him over. And again, from there, Carl's going to make a base. If you notice, I have the profile, he's got a whole flat chest to keep me back. Options 2 arm bar from here, but we want to keep it simple. This arm's coming underneath, and I just put 2 hands on the mat. He's really nowhere to push now, and then I just walk around. Okay. That guy.